All right, so for TDEE, total daily energy expenditure, this is really important to understand because this is gonna give you a more comprehensive look at how the body's burning calories, not just in working out, but all 24 hours throughout the day. So when we look at BMR, basal metabolic rate, this can be anywhere from 60 to 70% of your total daily energy expenditure. Then we look at NEAT, non-exercise activity thermogenesis. So non-exercise activity thermogenesis, that can be anywhere from 15, even up to 20% of the total daily energy expenditure, the amount of calories that your body's burning. Then we look at TEF, that is 10%, that's gonna be thermic effect of food. And then EAT, exercise activity thermogenesis, that can be 5, 10%. And it's really gonna be dependent on how much you're training, how hard you're training, how much you're walking, how healthy you are from a BMR standpoint, and then how much protein that you're having in these. So let me just dive into what contributes to each one of these so that you can understand everything in a more comprehensive way. All right, so there's a ton of different things that are gonna contribute to your basal metabolic rate. Let's just go down at a high level of some of these. So gender, typically men are going to burn more calories than women, and a big part of that is because they have more muscle mass and they have more of a body to move. And when you're thinking about your BMR, this is really the amount of energy your body needs just to keep the lights on. If you laid on the couch, did not move your body, you still need to burn calories. Your brain needs to burn calories. Every single process in the body is utilizing calories to keep your heart pumping, your liver doing what livers do, and everything in between. So when there's more of a body to do that with, it requires more calories. When you have more muscle, it requires more energy for those muscles. Then when we go and look at genetics, that's definitely gonna play a role. Some people have genetics that are going to increase their basal metabolic rate or really have them have a higher metabolism, and that's something that you can't control, but you can definitely express those genes to be more in favor, or with poor health habits, be less in favor of those genetics. Then when we look at diet, something that is gonna be pro-inflammatory or anti-inflammatory or a high inflammation diet, that can be something that plays a role. Good digestion, poor digestion, your diet's all gonna play a role in that, and that's gonna affect how your body absorbs nutrients, breaks down food, that's all playing a role in your BMR. Age is definitely gonna play a role. As you get older, your BMR is going to lower, but keep in mind, that's not an excuse. As you get older, a lot of people also slow down, they just aren't as active, and so consider how much you have slowed down from your 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, wherever you're at. When we were all 20 years old, we are also walking uphill both ways to class, playing intramural sports, playing in the gym, working out, partying all day, whatever it is that you're doing. You're just so much more active than when you're 40 years old, sitting at a desk, not doing anything all day, and then maybe you do a 30-minute workout. It's gonna contribute to not being as active. Stress is gonna play a huge role. When we go and look at allostatic load, that's gonna be something that you'll see and understand. If the body goes beyond a stress capacity, it's gonna have to downregulate. If it is not getting enough stress, it's gonna regress and atrophy. Disease is gonna play a big role as well. Obviously, any disease specific to specific areas of the body, it's going to inhibit the body's ability to function as it should. And then hormones are gonna play a huge role as well, whether you're taking drugs, stress levels, a bunch of different things can impact your hormones. And hormones, along with diet, is really gonna play a role in understanding what this BMR equation is gonna be when we go and look at how to understand how much food you should be having based on your total daily energy expenditure. All right, next for NEAT, this is really where I would say a lot of people have the most opportunity to increase their total daily energy expenditure and increase their metabolic rate, and ultimately how many calories your body burns throughout the day. So the most common one is gonna be through walking, but doing things like laundry, blinking, fidgeting, me moving my hands like this, anything that is beyond you just laying in bed, laying on the couch, it takes energy to do this motion. It takes energy for me to blink. The more energy I have available to me, maybe I'm gonna talk faster, maybe I'm gonna move a little bit more. And you'll see with people that increase their calories, the body's gonna subconsciously upregulate movement. If you decrease calories, the brain, the metabolism is really smart, it's going to downregulate how much energy you expend. So anytime you're playing with calories going up and down, it's really important to keep eye on what your need is, because your body is going to override what you think you're doing. You think you're super active, then you decrease calories, and maybe you're not walking, maybe you're not doing as much of these things as quick or as often, but if you go and increase calories, boom, you're gonna see this. So earlier we were showing that could be anywhere from 15, 20%, but for a lot of people, especially when COVID happened, you saw a huge decrease in NEAT. People weren't walking to work. People weren't walking their dogs. People weren't just going out to bars and just being active. So a lot of people gained weight. Big part of that is decrease in NEAT, decrease in that 15, 20, for some people it's even 25% of their total daily energy expenditure. This is the biggest opportunity that I see, or that our coaches see when working with clients to increase their metabolic rate. All right, next we got thermic effect of food, and that's gonna be anywhere from 10, maybe 15%. And again, it's gonna be depending on how much really protein that you're having. So when we look at overall metabolic rate and the body's ability to burn more calories, it's going to be impacted by how much protein, carbs, fat your diet is made up of. And it takes the body energy to break down food, additional energy beyond if you were just standing here and didn't have food to break down. And so when we look at fats, it's gonna be anywhere from an additional 0 to 5% energy expenditure. When we look at carbohydrates, an additional 5 to 10% energy expenditure. When we look at protein, it's 10 to 20% additional energy expenditure. And then studies, they'll show if you keep calories the same, exercise the same, and the only variable is protein intake, those people see a bigger change in body composition, fat loss, and it's simply due to that protein intake and that thermic effect of food. And so this is an opportunity not only in increasing your metabolic rate, but also with this, when you have a higher protein intake, higher fiber intake as well, it's gonna lead to more satiation. So you're now expending more calories and not getting those hunger signals as much that you need more food or that you want more food. And that's something that really helps people moderate their weight and moderate their energy levels. All right, and last but not least, we have EAT, exercise, activity, thermogenesis. So let's say you're on a treadmill and you're working out and you just stand on that treadmill. And in 60 minutes of just standing there, you burn 80 calories. Then let's say that you're on the treadmill and you're walking, maybe 3-4 miles an hour. So walking for that hour burns 200 calories. Then you decide you want to sprint on that treadmill for an hour. And these are all 3 separate hours. Sprinting burns, we'll just say 500 calories. Again, this is going to be contingent on the size of the human, how in shape you are and whatnot. But what a lot of people will make the mistake of is they'll look at their Apple Watch, their Fitbit, and they'll say, oh, you know, my workout burnt 500 calories. I need to work out more to burn more calories. But in showing the BMR, thermic effect of food, the NEAT, your body's burning calories, and the more efficiently you can do those in the other 23 hours, the more likely you're gonna be able to keep your metabolism high, because you can't outwork a bad diet. You can't work out 2, 3, 4 hours a day unless you're an athlete. If you're watching this and you're working out 4 hours a day, you're not an Olympic athlete, you need to pull that down a little bit. But what's happening here is this isn't 500 calories on top of 200. You're already gonna burn 80. So this is just an additional plus 120. This is just an additional, I think 300, if my math's correct. So yeah, you're burning a little bit more running, but it's not as much as you think, right? And so this is why it's really important to understand this, because you can look at this and say, oh, I had 500 calories, you know, I can have a donut because I worked it off, but there's so much more contributing to the amount of calories that your body is burning. So it's not that you can't have that donut. You absolutely can have that donut, especially if you're doing so many other things. But I think it's just really important to remember that there's calories burnt working out, there's calories burnt just by booming your body, and there's calories burnt had you just been standing on that treadmill doing absolutely nothing. So when we get into things that impact the metabolism and increase this beyond just the hour of working out, so that an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, the rest of the day after the metabolism stays revved up and active, that's where we get into things that are going to look like weight training, hit in the right context and the right times. And so I'll wrap this up by just saying, this is definitely important, but again, it's only 5 to 10% of your total daily energy expenditure.